Dooney Addict 615, and I am back with another Feed Your Addiction. Let's face it, we have all been there. We have all had um, periods of time where we have been pulled into the proverbial Dooney vortex. And what I want to talk about during our time together tonight are some of the bags that have pulled me into the Dooney vortex. If this is your first time here, welcome. Thank you so very much for joining. I do hope that you will enjoy the live tonight, that you will consider interacting in the chat and checking out a few more videos, hitting that subscribe button and turning on the bell alert so that you do not miss any future live streams, uploads, shorts, you name it. I'm here for it all. If you are a returning tribe sister, thank you so very much for continuing to come back. All right. Now, tonight, the Dooney vortex. So it is a real thing. It is a real place. It is a real phenomena. And you will know when you have been inside the Dooney vortex because it is all consuming. It is the hunt, the quest, the price, the color, the silhouette. It just pulls you in. It is the smell of the Florentine leather that seems to course through your veins. We all know that there have been periods in time that if you are truly about Dooney and Bourke, where you have been pulled into the vortex, and hence the phrase in the community, what is it? Once you go for Dooney, you go loony, or loony for Dooney, or whatever it is. Once you go, you get it. Somebody drop it in the comments. But that's what we're going to talk about tonight. So I'm not sure how many parts this series will have, but tonight is the first of the Dooney Vortex series. And what I'm going to do is share with you bag silhouettes, specifically silhouettes that pulled me into the Dooney vortex. Now, my intent is not to taunt you because some of these bags are no longer available, so your best means of locating them is likely going to be the secondary market. But that's not to say that they won't periodically pop back up on either Dooney.com, I Love Dooney, or even QVC. In the spirit of transparency, I am a Dooney affiliate. If you use any affiliate links that are linked down below, I may benefit monetarily from a small commission. I'd ask that if this channel led you to a bag purchase, that you would kindly consider using those affiliate links. It does not change the price of your purchase. It just gives me credit with the brand for introducing you to the bag or being the influencer that helped push you over the edge into making your decision. All right, so bags tonight. Some of these bags you will have seen, but probably you may have seen all of them, well, with the exception of one or two on my channel. Again, this is not necessarily the specific bag because I did not start pulling the bags together until recently. And I've not put my hands on all of the bags that were the first purchase that pulled me into the vortex. But I do want to share with you some of the bag silhouettes that pulled me into the Dooney vortex. And we're going to just start with the one that you've all seen, a bag that I have worn out, cleaned, has run it into the ground, and continue to reach for it. It is none other than the Florentine Large Russell. This bag pulled me into the Dooney vortex when Dooney was still doing partnerships with Vogue magazine, and they were actually posting their lookbooks as a video on YouTube. There is, I believe they may have been in Central Park, New York, or some other park, and a model is in an oversized, bulky sweater. I think she's in leggings or maybe some fitted pants, boots, and she is walking with an absolutely gorgeous, large Florentine Russell. Shoulder drop. The sun is just absolutely beaming off of the bag, and I could not get enough of it. Now, of course, the model was only about this big, and the bag looked oversized to me on her, which was the look that Dooney was going for. But I thought about it as being the perfect travel bag, which is exactly how I have used my large Russell. This bag has probably, I'm going to pull out a few bags maybe in the next series on wear and tear to show you like the bags that have absolutely earned their spot in my collection because of the wear and tear on them. And this is one of those bags. The leather has been beat up. It has, this is from a can of Lysol exploding in my bag at the start, well, not at the start of the pandemic, but during the pandemic. I actually traveled to Nashville and didn't realize that my Lysol had exploded. The bottom seal had leaked. So you can tell this is my bag. I still travel with it. And large Russell, medium Russell, small Russell, pebbled Russell, Florentine, cabriolet, nylon. It absolutely sucked me in to the Dooney Vortex, and I have yet to be able to escape. So I want to hear down in the comments if you're watching on the replay or if you're in the chat room now, some of the bags that have pulled you into the Dooney Vortex. And I want to hear all about the stories because I'm going to make sure that I go back after this live stream to make sure that I do not miss any of the comments. So, large red Florentine Russell absolutely pulled me into the Dooney Vortex. And the sad part is, I wouldn't care one bit about anybody asking me about what happened to my bag or assuming that water exploded or a water bottle leaked because it's my bag. I know exactly what happened. I have tried to clean it, but it does not come out because, again, it's not water. Lysol is a chemical. But you can even see around here how it just kind of, it outlined the leather, and that's just like almost like a perfect cylinder from where it was sitting. But this one pulled me into the Dooney Vortex. So hopefully that explains to all of you, if it hasn't been clear in the past, why I go hard for Russell. All three sizes, but why I advocate especially for the medium and the large, especially the large because of the shoulder drop, is because this is a bag that pulled me into the Vortex. It has this outside pocket, great shoulder drop, feet under the bottom, the SDS in the interior. It has the red cotton twill lining, so I'm never losing anything in the interior of this bag other than a can of Lysol that exploded. It has a key keeper. It has the snap closures across the top. I've got it in all different kinds of colors, leathers, fabrics. It is an absolutely amazing carry. And it all started with late night scrolling and watching on YouTube many moons ago. And the Vogue and Dooney Bourke lookbook appeared. And I had to have it. So this is the first bag that I'm featuring in this. I have no clue how many parts this series will have. Dooney Vortex bags. All right, so that is the first one. All right, let me get that dropped over here. All right, let's talk about this next one. This next one is a fairly recent purchase in that this color was a recent purchase. And I'm talking about, during the zombie apocalypse, it reappeared in this color and I purchased it. But the first one that I purchased was actually featured on QVC. And what am I talking about? I'm talking about the large zip Barlow. The very first one that I purchased was in the color Bordeaux. And let me tell you, when that bag got here, she whispered my name and we bonded, and I have absolutely lost track of the number of large zip Barlows that I've purchased. I know that I have a couple of videos, for those that may not be familiar. This is it. And this one is in the brown Timoro color. It's got those edgy zippers that help the bag to shape shift. Oh, absolutely love it. But I moved into the Barlow in that Bordeaux color, and it was made for me for travel. I still have the same concern about wishing that the shoulder drop was just a tinge longer, because it does not pass the elbow test. It doesn't pass the elbow test for me bare armed, and it definitely doesn't do it, in a puffer coat or anything else. But the outside pocket, or look, see, it just, I don't know, maybe with a little bit of anyway, I love this bag. It shape shifts. It gives you the 2-for-1. You can make it smaller. You can expose the zippers, and then it's going to give you that winged shape look that I absolutely love from the brand. No actual outside pockets on the face of the bag, but it does have these outside snap pockets. It has a slip pocket for like your debit card or your ID or your transit pass or your work badge. This bag, that Bordeaux, sold out during that debut on QVC, and it was literally a year later before that bag reappeared. In the meantime, I loved it. I got accessories to go with it that included a Carrington to pair. And every single time a large zip Barlow appeared in Florentine, the color just whispered to my name. This bag silhouette has been a go-to for me for travel. It has absolutely worked for all of the essentials and the extras. Now, I know this bag is large for some people, but it is not the largest travel bag that I have. And even when I haven't traveled, it makes for a great everyday bag for me. I love the carry. The straps on this particular one are actually the same tone as the bag, but I do have some others that have contrasting colors on the straps. Now, how do I know that this bag pulled me in? One, I have it in multiples. I have it in multiples. I don't feel like I can do a weekly cart when this bag is on sale without featuring it. So again, I hope that you understand why there are some bags that I seem to repeat over and over and over again. It's because they hold a special place in my heart. But I had kind of made the transition, or I was making the transition from red being neutral for me to actually being influenced by one of my tribe sisters and going into a more neutral, clean palette. So more of the ecru, because I've always been an oyster taupe girl. But when Dooney introduced ecru, I was just a little on the fence about how is this going to be different from my usual white and my bone and my oyster. Like, does this color really have a place in my collection? Well, what solidified it for me is that I was at a Dooney and Bourke outlet, and I filmed. It was one of those earlier shop with me where I could actually live stream and you guys could call in your orders to the store. And whenever I walk in a Dooney store, and this time as well, I walked in and I started and I kind of do a scan of the store to see what's going to immediately catch my eye, and that's the area of the store that I will always start in, and then I'll work my way around. And if you've watched those shop with me's, you know that there are times that I will double back to an area a couple of times. Usually that's because there's something that's caught my eye. Maybe I'm not sure about how the video footage was. Maybe there's something that I'm interested in. So instead of the video being choppy or the live stream being cut off early, I'll just go back to that area. So I was on an ecru kick. Like, everything ecru was catching my attention. And I walked in and did not know, because I hadn't seen it online on either website. I don't remember ever seeing it on QVC, but they had the ecru large zip Barlow Florentine, and it had the dark brown straps and contrasting. I could not get to the register fast enough to pay for that bag. Large zip Barlow. It is a big bag, but it is, again, not as big as some others that I have, but the organization and the fact that this bag shape shifts with the outside zippers makes it one that has pulled me many a time into the Dooney Vortex. I even have this bag in strawberry. It is absolutely gorgeous. I'm talking about juicy spring, summer, all of the fruits, all of the berry colors, and I absolutely love carrying that one during the warmer weather months. But it was, in fact, the Bordeaux one, purchased from QVC, paid full price for it, that pulled me into the Dooney Vortex known as large zip Barlow. All right, so let's see here. Well, let me get it put back in because I've got a mountain of bags, or slight mountain, for this first section. All right, so here's the next one. Now, this next one I have not carried yet. I have not carried it yet because I have a few others that I have carried. I have carried the taupe, which was the first one that I purchased in Saffiano. I have carried the bone in pebbled leather. I have carried the terracotta in pebbled leather. I have carried the plum in Saffiano leather. And this one, because this one, she has been peeking out at me saying, is it my turn? And she is definitely going to be stripped this spring, and she is coming out. This is none other than the raspberry Davis Tassel Shopper. I'm a tote girl. So when the double strap Tassel Bag was recently featured in my weekly card, it reminded me that every time I open the door to the DooneyVault, she whispers, "Is it my turn yet?" I don't know what I'm going to use for accessories, and it doesn't even matter. I can carry black at this point for all I care. But this bag, the first one that I purchased, I was in a business meeting. So everybody's traveling in, coming into my office for a business meeting. And one of the operators, one of the female operators that was on the team, walked in with the taupe color of this bag. Now, this was like the day after we had all gotten our bonuses, and everybody's talking about, you know, vacation plans and big ticket purchases and all of this other stuff. And it blew my mind because she said, you will never guess what I purchased with, my first purchase with my bonus. And I mean, people were buying like cars and boats and European vacations. Corey and I were heading out of the country. So I'm thinking it's going to be something amazing, even though I'd already peeped her bag. And she said, "I bought my first luxury bag." And I was like, "You did?" She was like, "Yes, I bought a Dooney and Bourke." And I absolutely, I was like, "Can I see it?" Because I had already peeped the color. It's a tote, great shoulder drop, zipper top closure. It worked perfectly with everyone's attire in the room, which just means that that bag, regardless of what I were to pair it with or what she is to pair her bag with, it will just work. That, as soon as that meeting was over, I packed up my things and I made my way to my car, and I started calling every department store in the city that I knew carried Dooney and Bourke. And I did not stop until the taupe colored one was secured on hold, and I made my way to Cool Springs Galleria in Brentwood, Tennessee, and purchased it from Dillard's. It was on hold. It was gorgeous. And I did wait a little bit before I carried the bag to work. But on the weekends, we were together. And after a little bit of time passed, I absolutely moved into my bag. And I sent her a note and I said, "Just in case we bump into each other, I just want you to know that I purchased the bag." It is, again, the color raspberry, and it's called the Davis Tassel Shopper. It was 54 of 56, and this was back in 2012. That's how long she's been waiting. She's been waiting that long. She's not going to have to wait much longer. If you have not looked at, because again, Dooney has kind of done a little bit of a play on the names. The Davis Tassel snaps. This one zips. Shoulder drop. So let's. See how easy that went up? Oh. So this is probably the extent of a pinky rose. It's not pink. It is a raspberry color, and the camera is not doing this color any justice. But it's gorgeous, great to travel with. It's got a nice size butt. I would probably no, I wouldn't. I was just going to say I might use a bag organizer. I've never used a bag organizer in this silhouette, and I wouldn't start with this one because it does hold everything. And I don't know. I guess because I don't use bag organizers that often. I know some people that keep their stuff in a bag organizer. It would just make it difficult for me to keep the inside of my bag. Like everything would have a place instead of everything has a pouch. So I don't know that that one will work for me with an organizer. But I love that bag. And any tote style bag that has that shape to it, I am here for it because it is a great professional bag, great travel bag. It's a great mommy bag. It is a great everyday bag. It holds all of the things. You don't have to think about, skinnying down your carry. It just works. All right. Another bag that took me deep down into the funnel known as the Dooney Vortex is none other than what was referred to then as the Florentine medium satchel, but it is truly the large. And I always wondered when I got this bag, if this is the medium, where is the large? Why can't I get my hands on the large? I want the large. And in talking to several of the Dooney store managers and SAs, this version, the medium, became the large because there were so many complaints about the weight of this bag. So in this particular case, I will just say that Dooney addicts are kind of the reason we never got an even larger version of the satchel. Instead, they went the opposite direction and did smaller. Now, my very first purchase of this bag was in black. I said it, in black, and it was an everyday bag, and I probably carried it that first year. I probably carried it for like 9 months straight. I'm talking about work, travel, church, funerals, meetings, shopping, with a black wallet and accessories in the interior. It fazed me none. What I didn't care for about it is that the shoulder drop. I usually do not have to adjust Dooney straps. And because I'm only 5'5" in height, that strap, when I carried it on my shoulder as an actual shoulder bag, it literally, the top of the bag would hit at the bend of my knee. It was that long and uncomfortable. And when I used it or tried to use it as a crossbody, it fell at the bottom of my thigh, which was still awkward to carry. It is a heavy bag. Now, I've gotten several I'm going to call it the medium satchel. Just know if you're looking for it, it is the large. But when I purchased all of mine, they were referred to as the medium satchel. But this one is in the color light taupe. Oh my goodness. The red zipper tape on this bag, the edging detail, the actual whip stitching contrast. Listen, this bag is still not for the faint of heart. It is heavy, and it is like 2.5 pounds in weight, just leather and hardware, empty. So once you start throwing your wallet, your brush, your comb, your lippies, your book, your tablet, your stuff in there, it is going to get exponentially heavier and heavier and heavier. But this bag, this is Dooney classic right here. Do you hear me? Look at this. Whether she is over the crook of the arm, whether you're carrying her by handle. Do you see this? Oh my goodness. This color in Florentine, this bag in Florentine, I do not know that I own a medium satchel in anything other than Florentine. I don't think I've ever purchased one in like Belvedere or Pebbled. I think my entire satchel collection is all Florentine. I don't even think I purchased one in City when it was available. Let me think about that. Did I purchase a City? I don't think that I did. I think my collection is exclusively Florentine. But now I feel like I need to go do some digging and check to confirm that. And maybe I'll do that throughout the course of this series because I may end up having to show, if I have it in any other leathers. But this one, this color, this silhouette is everything. Now, let me say this. And I am likely not talking to those of you that are in the chat. Likely not, right? If you're here for a reason. You're here because you have a self-diagnosed addiction to Dooney and Bourke. But I will say that I have seen out in the wild, and some of you have seen them as well, some medium satchels, some large satchels that have like been dragged. I mean, they look like they need a rehab facility. They look like they need some kiwi leather lotion. They look like they need a little bit of, microfiber and warm soapy water to just kind of clean them up. Why am I pointing that out? One, take care of your stuff. That's really what I'm talking about. But two, it is a testament to the quality of the leather that you can drag this leather and you are still not going to destroy the Florentine leather. Now, I know that there are some that are afraid of Florentine, that baby Florentine, and I'd rather you baby it than drag it. There's some that won't, wear or carry, use theirs during inclement weather. I don't suffer from any of those problems because cows don't have houses or umbrellas and they stay outside and they dry just fine as long as you don't try to take a towel to them. Have you ever seen a cow out in a field in the rain or afterwards and he's got a towel out there trying to dry off? No, because they don't. They air dry. And that is the same thing you should do with the hides of your bags when they get wet. I keep saying it, and I know that some of you have joined me and said, yep, my Florentine got wet. I had no issues with it. But if you are trying to dry your bag off, it is causing more issues. Just let it be. Now, again, I want to go back to that first one. That was not a water stain. That is a chemical stain from a Lysol aerosol can, the bottom of it. That's what that is from. So I want to be clear that that is a chemical stain, not a water stain. I am purely talking about water in this instance. I have not had an issue with any of my bags in that regard. Now, let me caveat before we move on to the next one, and I do want to say this. I do not store my bags in a garage. I do not store my bags in an attic. My bags are in a climate-controlled area. I have always lived in places since I started collecting Dooney, I have always lived in places that have had relatively high humidity. Why do I point that out? Because there's moisture in the air, and moisture can be good or bad for a bag. But in my assessment, if you do not regularly rotate or have a good ventilated area, your leather bags being in a dry, arid climate is worse than it being in humidity. Because again, humidity is moisture in the air, it's not dry heat. I've not had issues with my bags. And if I did, I'd tell you. I'd tell you what my experience is. But that's where we are. All right. Oh my goodness. I think the last one that I purchased was right before the first price increase, where these bags were going from, I think it was $229 at the outlet price to $269 or $299. I think that was the last time that I purchased, and it was in the color steel blue. I don't know that I've purchased another satchel since then, or since that price increase, which has been pre-zombie apocalypse. It's been a while since that very first price increase, and it has gone up since then. All right. So, bags that have pulled me into the Dooney Vortex. All right, let's go here. This is another bag that I purchased, and the very first one was in black, and it was purchased from Nordstrom during an anniversary sale. This bag started out as a Nordstrom exclusive during their the anniversary sale in July. Nordstrom card holder, got the early preview, the look, went in store for the early preview and the early shop, and not only did I buy it in the black, but I bought it in the natural. Those were the two colors. I think they only had two colors available then. And I have since purchased it in a couple of other colors, including red. Now, I know that there is a cult following for Dooney's Kingston, but Clayton is not for the faint of heart, because it has all of the things. It has all of the weight. It has all of the tassels. It has all of the pockets. It's got pockets here. It's got pockets here. It's got pockets here. It has pockets in the inside. It has a shoulder strap crossbody that it needs to be adjusted to. I'm 5'5". I could never get that strap to work for me, but I absolutely love this bag. Let me tell you though, I've traveled with this bag before, and it will make you wish it will make you wish that you traveled with something else, because it gets heavy fast. This bag empty is just shy of being like 4 pounds of leather. It's like 3.7 something another, 3.5, 3.7 pounds and ounces of leather. I have engaged with many people in comments, in emails, in DMs that have asked me about this bag silhouette, whether it's about the secondary market, whether it's getting my thoughts on it. I got pulled in. I have this bag in a few different colors, all in Florentine. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, they're all. But if you put one thing in here that's not a cotton ball or a feather, if you put one thing that is not a cotton ball or a feather, you can feel the weight of this bag. It gets heavy very, very quickly. You can stay organized in it. But let me tell you, by the time you add a few things into this bag, and it has the capacity to carry all of the things. I'm talking about the kitchen sink, the laundry room sink, the master sink. It carries all of the sinks in here. But it will get very heavy and can become very uncomfortable very quickly. I cannot use very enough because this bag is a classic. It is like all of the amazing things that Dooney is known for, with the exception it does not have whip stitching on it, right? That's the thing that it's missing. But the Florentine, the hardware, the tassels, the organization, the feet, the size of the bag, the stitch work, it has all of those components. Just doesn't have the whip stitching, but it has the amazing glazing. This bag is classic Dooney, and it is heavy. It is not, if you have shoulder issues, wrist issues, arm issues, back issues, you get aggravated when something is hot, uncomfortable, you don't like thin straps for heavyweight bags. This bag has all of that. So just know that if you don't have one and you're ever on the quest for one, make sure that you take note, because just like there is for the most part, I mean, there's always, a couple of outliers. We're not going to talk about the outliers in this situation, but I'm going to talk about the core. And when I say core, I'm not talking about of the community. I'm talking about the core of what of the group that became or is the Dooney tribe. There is a consensus that we love a leisure shopper. There is a consensus that the shoulder drop on medium Russell needs to be a little bit longer. And I'm talking about from fluffy to petite. We have all kind of unanimously agreed that the shoulder drop needs to be just a smidgen longer. We have kind of unanimously agreed that while there are some people that love a center zip, it does restrict your ability to organize and maintain the interior of your bag the way that you would want to, because you don't have that free form space. And we have all agreed that Clayton is a heavy bag. There are just some universal truths that we have adopted, and that is the case for this one. I have gotten one of these for Christmas. I again purchased my first two when they were available during the Nordstrom anniversary sale when it debuted, like many moons ago. But it continues to be a bag that is a cult favorite, and there is tons of reasons why. Because short of the whip stitching, it has everything that Dooney & Bourke is known for and that we follow the brand for. All right, let's see. I think I'm down to my last two bags that have pulled me into the Dooney Vortex. Now, this next one, because I thought about not doing a reveal tonight, but if I do a reveal, then that means next weekend when I'm back home and I can put away my big tote, I can move into this bag because I bought sneakers and boots to go with it. Oh, I think I'm 3 bags. All right, so we're going to go ahead and do the reveal first. Okay, so this bag, I only have this bag in Florentine. The very first bag that caught my eye was in red, then natural, then ecru, Then it got, I bought all of those before I'd ever carried it. So that's just, truth and disclosure. Then I carried it, and y'all have seen you've seen this bag out in the wild. And then I felt like I needed another one because it earned its place as a forever bag in my collection. So I'm glad that I made the purchases that I did when I did, because I fell in love with the bag. And I purchased it in a new color when this color bit me a few months ago. And it is none other than the Florentine large Dottie crossbody in pale blue. Dottie, oh Dottie, let me clarify, not just Dottie, large Dottie, because there is just a Dottie, and this one is large Dottie. Be sure to hit the thumbs up in here, please. I would really appreciate it. It just lets the YouTube algorithm know that you are enjoying the content, and it will recommend the video to other bag enthusiasts based on your feedback. So just hit the thumbs up. Doesn't cost you anything, just like using those affiliate links. Doesn't cost you anything to use it. This bag made its way all the way to the first outdoor frontier known as Alaska. I absolutely Dottie started out in a whirlwind. And by that, I mean, I plan to change all of my accessories and switch out to like a regular small wallet for vacation travel. And time caught up with me, and I just had to throw everything in my natural colored large Florentine Dottie and made it work. Before I could even get to the airport, she already had a big grease spot on her. I don't know whether that was from like bumping against something. I don't know whether it was on the shuttle at the airport, but by the time I got to check my bag in, my luggage in at the airport, and was pulling my ID out of my wallet, I noticed that I'd already scratched her up and she already had a grease spot. And she held all of the things, all of the places and things that we did while we were in Alaska. Dottie worked. So I'm glad that I got a few colors, but I didn't have a pop of color. And I am blaming none other than Rosalind Ellis for me picking up this color, because we'd had a few conversations about this color. Then we talked about how when Dooney first released the color, well, I know there were many of you that jumped on the robin's egg blue color. It just did not strike my interest. And fast forward several years later, and the bag is, bags are now available in this color that were not available before. Some of them, still are. I just felt like I needed to get it. One, it was at a great price. Two, it had already proven that it could carry all of the travel essentials that I needed. That it worked indoors, outdoors, over puffer coats. It worked in all of the spaces on the cruise. It worked fireside. It worked at the waterfalls. It worked whale watching. It just worked. And I felt like I wanted it in a pop of color, because again, the red, the natural, the ecru, those are all neutrals, but I felt like I wanted something that would give me a little bit of pop of color. Could be great for the spring and summer. a good pastel. I'm not really a pastel, but I figured out a few things that I really liked that worked with this. Not to mention, Kate Spade has they're a low top sneaker that is this color. I've posted it on I feel like I did a video on it, but I picked those up. And then Spring Step, their Les Artistes brand, they had a pair of like winter shoes, pair of little low top boots that absolutely go with this, because I was thinking that it would only be spring because of the pastel, but that actually gives me the option to wear it during cooler weather months as well. So y'all make sure that you keep Rosalind company, as she's in the enabler corner tonight, for enabling me to go back and get large Dottie in pale blue, because for whatever reason it had not caught my attention, and sure enough, when I went back to ILD to look, it was on there and it was at a great price, and I just nicely put it on my cart and waited for shipping confirmation. This bag is the smallest bag that I'm featuring tonight of bags that have pulled me into the Dooney Vortex. The red one was my first purchase, but the natural Florentine one is the one that solidified its status in my collection. I absolutely love this bag and love this color. All right, we've got two more. Okay, this bag has a story. So I was several years ago on business in Puerto Rico. And this was when Dooney still had an outlet store in San Juan, in Old San Juan. And I extended my business trip for personal reasons, and because I wanted to do some shopping. I wanted to spend some time in Puerto Rico that was unrelated to business, so I extended. And my friend flew down for the weekend, and I told him, well, we can do whatever you want to do first, because I've been here already for a week, and my team made sure that it was not just all work. There was a lot of culture and a lot of downtime, because that was my first time in Puerto Rico. Been back a few times since then, but that was my first visit, and I had to get to Dooney. So it's a Saturday, and we decided, you know what, we're going to just walk and just kind of, catch the scenes, figure out where everything is. And he was like, wherever you want to start. So, of course, I wanted to start where the shopping was because it was my plan that I'd seen everything else. I didn't need to see anything else. I just needed to get to Dooney. Well, he picked up on that pretty quickly. But anyway, I went into the Dooney store, and there were so many beautiful bags. And I had already been collecting Dooney at that time for several years. So while there were lots of bags that caught my eye, a lot of them were duplicates or silhouettes that I already had. Except they had this bag that was called the Smith. And all I could think about was, my luggage is already 50 pounds. I will end up having to pay for a second piece of luggage, because there was no way I could get it in my bag to take back with me. I would have to buy another bag to ship, to bring it back with me, or I would have to ship it back. Well, I must have been taking too long in the store because I was summoned out of the store and had to leave the Smith behind. It took a while and some cocktails for me to get over having to leave that one behind, and I even doubled back to the store, but was just like I can't figure it out, right? Buying another bag, shipping, the extra cost, it just didn't make sense. But I was like, I know what it is. When I get back home, I'm gonna track the bag down, and I did. And I have a few Smiths, but a few years ago, recently, few years, talking about like right before the zombie apocalypse, the Smith reappeared in a color that I didn't have. And it takes a lot for me to buy in this color, but that is going to just show you how much I love it, because I have it in light taupe. I have it in navy. I have it in red. I don't have it in any nylons. I'm trying to think. There are a couple other colors that I have it in, but it came back and it was available in black, and I could not resist. It had nothing to do with the color of the bag, because again, my mother did not raise a heathen. I have good, deep Southern roots, and I know that it is very proper to have a black bag, a black clutch, or a black bag, or right. I mean, it's traditional. I don't reach for them often, but I have it. I got this because one, it's in Florentine, and two, this bag works for everything. And the very first time that I carried my red natural one, I carried it during the summer. And I carried it during the summer because I felt like the Florentine was a little, the natural was a little washed out. It didn't have like a rich tan to it. It didn't have any patina to it. It's almost like that those pieces of leather were vegetable dyed in a drum that just wasn't as saturated. And I decided I'm going to carry it during the summertime so that it literally can get a suntan, so that it will get this, gorgeous, natural color tan, and the patina will start to build. And my mother, when I got to her house in Nashville, she looked at me and she said, "Why are you carrying your winter bag?" And I said, "Ma, it's not a winter bag." She said, "Yes, it is. That is a winter bag." And I told her, what I was doing, and she said, "I understand, but you look crazy walking around with your winter bag in the dead of summer." Needless to say, when I got back home, I moved out of my bag and into something else, because my mom was not one to bite her tongue or hold, she was not shy with her punches, and I felt that. I felt like I should have known better than to be walking around with a natural Florentine bag in July, because I was trying to give it a tan. But anyway, this bag is amazing. It has front flap snap pocket. It has back slip pocket. It has tassels. It has feet. It has, did you see that shoulder drop? Your girl didn't have to manipulate. She didn't have to thread it up her arm. It just passes the elbow test. It just works. Straps stay on my non-existent shoulder with no problem. It develops a beautiful smile at the top where this flap is. It has an amazing zipper with a partial braiding, gold tone hardware that is absolutely smooth and flawless. And No question, because the suede greets you as soon as you open this bag. And then it has the red cotton twill lining with the SDS in the interior. Let me tell you something. This right here, this is one of those bags like medium Russell, large Russell, small Russell, all the Russells, like Leisure, like Smith, um, like the double pocket sack, like East West Chelsea, Florentine, like the large satchel, the medium satchel. Those to me are Dooney staples, and they should always be available. Smith is one of those bags, in my opinion, it should always be available. Now, Minor and Florentine, they did have a short release of a few colors where they did this bag in nylon. I would love to get the bag in nylon because I would have to go and sit at my mom's graveside and let her know I'm carrying my summer bag in summer because she absolutely did not support me carrying natural Florentine in the dead of summer. She didn't care what I was trying to do with that bag. It was my winter bag. It was summertime, and I needed to get out of it. But the Smith bag, and it is titled the Smith bag. It's not Smith. Let me make sure, because the Smith bag. The Smith bag. That's the proper name for it. This bag, Dooney should make available all the time. Now, this bag is also heavy, but it holds all of the things. It looks amazing summer, spring, winter, fall. It does not matter what you are wearing with this bag. It has been available in tons of different colors. I'm talking about from the fuchsias and pinks to the reds to the navies to the light taupes. This bag is amazing. Many of us a few years ago purchased it in red Florentine. It just popped up, and let me tell you, I'm thankful that I was able to purchase it, because had I not, I would probably still be talking about missing out on the red. So I am glad that I not only got it and didn't miss the shopping opportunity, but that it shipped and it was gorgeous, and I have enjoyed carrying it because it is an amazing, amazing bag. And then the last bag that has pulled me into the Dooney Vortex, it is a bag that is still available, not in this color, but it is still available on Dooney.com. I think they've removed it from I Love Dooney. It is a bag that has been available in several colors. It has a few carry options. And by that, I mean two different ways to, at least two different ways to carry the bag. It previously came in a couple of different colors. It is a bag that my first one I fell in love with. The second one came and it was not perfect. It clearly had been it's like somebody took it out of their house and were trying to get to Alaska, because it had this grease spot on the front. And I remember that live stream. It was like my blood was absolutely boiling because I wanted this bag. It was packaged like it was new, but it had this grease spot on the front, and I packed it up, put it in the trunk, and was gonna return it. Like, I didn't even, just send me another one or give me my money back. I didn't want it. And I put it in the trunk, and then my luggage went in the trunk, and I went on a couple of business trips. And then it got pushed to the back, out of sight, out of mind. Um, Again, luggage in, groceries in, travel in, and one Saturday I am out cleaning out the trunk of the car because I'd had, like, I don't know whether it was a grocery bag or something that had spilled. And I had stuff just kind of that was rolling around the trunk. And I went out to get all of that stuff out. And lo and behold, there's a Dooney box in the trunk, and it has this bag in there. And I was months and months and months away from being able to return it, exchange it, say that it was damaged. I couldn't do it. So it remained in my collection. And I'm glad that I kept it because I was able to clean it. And now that it has a little bit of a patina on it, you can't tell the spot. But let me tell you, every time I still think about it, it puts me in a handbag rage that I did not return it, even though I'm loving it and I'm glad that I kept it. It's just, I've not been shy on my platform about talking about how I feel about bag returns, especially if a bag has been completely stripped of all of its factory packaging, especially if somebody's moved into it and carried it a day, 30 days, and then returned it. It just boils my blood. I do not understand that. But anyway, this bag sent me into the Dooney Vortex after I used it in its natural Florentine state as an umbrella in a Florida downpour. I'm talking about soaking wet. And I decided it was more important for me to save my hair than it was my bag. And my bag got soaking wet. And it has been featured on my channel a few times because it has the absolute best patina of any of the natural Florentine bags in my collection. I'm talking about the Buckley bag. I did not dig out the natural Buckley because it has been featured many a time. But when you're doing something that pulls you into the vortex, sometimes, hold on, let me get it untied here. I thought I'd done this, but I can't get it out now. This, again, a pop of color, a bag that Dooney should always have available in more colors than black, and natural. It is one that if they brought it back in pops of color, I'm advocating for Kelly Green, although it never came in Kelly Green that I can remember. I think it would absolutely sell out. Why can I not get that untied? Hold, please. Why is that not? Okay, there we go. So, and we already know it's Buckley, but it is Sunflower Buckley. Dooney does color like nobody's business. And when they go in and say that they are going to vegetable dye, vegetable tan a leather, they go all in. There's no missing. There's no denying what color it is. And the contrasting detail on this beauty, she goes from being a bright in the spring and summer to a jewel tone in the fall and winter. What's that right there? Do I have a pop stitch? I need to knit that. I need to get the, it looks like there's a little piece of thread. It's not the, is that the same color? It's not the same color as the, I don't know what it is. Look at that. It's not the same color as the stitch because it's kind of a, you can tell the color there. I don't know where that thread is coming from, but I'm not going to just pull it. But look at all of the detail. This bag, drawstring, and what makes the Buckley so much different is that the drawstring is actually in the interior of the bag as opposed to going through the leather. So it really gives it a different feel. It has the top handle so you can actually carry it as a bucket over the crook of the arm, by the hand. But you can also shoulder bag, this shoulder carry this bag. And oh my goodness, it is just so good. It should be available all the time. It should be available in colors. It should be available with this whip stitching. And I know we're coming up on like 50 years of Dooney and Bourke, and I know that there are some things being planned, but some of the things that I personally, as an affiliate, want planned are the archives. And I'm talking about even different from the archives that QVC is doing right now, because color is important. Bag silhouette is important. It can't just be anything that comes back from the vault and it be popular. It needs to be the things that are coveted, and it needs to be items. Hey Peter, hey marketing team, Dooney Addict here making an official request. It needs to be items that individuals who are likely newer to Dooney missed out on in the past and that have a desire to make a purchase. Now, I will say that there are some bags that, as I go through the next couple of parts of this Dooney Vortex series, there are some bags that I will share that I do believe need a little bit of a makeover in the organization in the interior, because they have, for example, an older Dooney interior organization, or they have the old Dooney cell phone pocket, which becomes perfect for me for lippies, for ink pens. It becomes the perfect place for like my teeth whitening pen. It becomes a perfect place for like the little Kleenex pocket packs. There are ways to use it, but I just feel like if some of those bags are going to come back, the interior organization needs to be the newer organization. And I know that they've done that with a few bags, but this is one that I believe, and they believe it too. They believe that it should be available all the time, but it's only the black that is in constant availability. Let's talk a little bit about that. So part of the reason that Dooney switched to the nylon key keeper is because the leather key keepers were being sent in for wear, tear, break. People were using them, and that leather was just wearing down. So they made the switch from the leather key keeper to the nylon. It was also a cost savings measure. Now, I have absolutely no explanation for you for why they switched from the gold hardware, which is on every other bag, to the hardware that they use today, other than that was likely a cost savings measure as well. But cost savings and then warranty based on that breaking is the history behind why Dooney made that transition. And there was a couple of collections that I can't think of. I have a couple bags, so there are a few collections, older collections, where Dooney actually switched to a much wider nylon key keeper. It was short-lived, and I'm glad, because it looked out of place. but they did do a few different iterations of that key keeper after they moved from leather to nylon until they landed with what we have today. Now, this one does have the nylon. Nope. Yeah, this one does. It has the nylon key keeper. I do have some older bags that do have the leather. I've never had any issues with mine, but I'm also not super rough on most of my bags. I don't baby them, but I'm also not dragging my bags. And I do, you know, I try to maintain my collection because it's my collection. It's important to me. All right, so there are 41 of you in here, and there are only 22 people that have hit the like. So once we get to 35 likes, so some people need to hit the like button, I want to talk to you a little bit about Dooney's new spring collection. So go ahead, hit the thumbs up. We're gonna talk about it. So I did a little bit of a teaser earlier this week, last week. It's all running together now. Yeah, I think it was, well, we're in a new week now, last week. And I did that teaser for a couple of reasons. One, to let you know that it was coming, but two, it was a week ago, like probably like 2 a.m. I was up scrolling on the site on Dooney, and I saw the sales, the marketing collateral for the new collection. I could barely keep my eyes open, and I was going to take a couple of screenshots so that I could feature it in a video that week, but I just decided, you know what, it's up. I'll just wait until, you know, I get up and I'm ready to do the video, and I'll do all of that then. Well, I should have taken the dang blasted screenshots, because the next morning a new sale promo posted, but they'd taken off the pictures for the new collection. Now, there are a couple of pieces that are out there, not from the new collection. I'm just saying there are new Dooney bag collections, silhouettes. I've got some pictures, I think, here. Okay. So the first is they've done this in the past, but this one looks a little bit different because it's a little different. It's the polka dot zip satchel. They've got it in a couple of different colors, but what caught my eye is they have a red one with white polka dots. This one right here. They have that one. Again, this is not the new collection. These are new items, but this is not the collection that they took the pictures down. I really wish that I'd taken the stinking screenshot, because the bag that the model was holding, I was like, sweet baby Jesus. I don't know whether that's going to be my new travel bag, or whether that's going to be my new handbag, or whether it's going to be my new, overhead bin bag. But I was, what else does it come in? I was so sleepy. But when it does post, I will make sure to point it out. But it was more kind of oblong, kind of rectangular, rounded corners. It looked like they are going back to some of their linen or canvas bags, because before Dooney did coated, it was just canvas, no coating or protection or anything on it. It looked like it's maybe a nod back to some of those earlier non-coated collection days. So we'll see. All right. There's another one. They are bringing back the Chevron zip satchel. Chevron seems to come back spring, summer. It has done that for the last few years, but they do have some colors. Like they've got this fuchsia or hot pink chevron. They've done like a pale pink in the past, but this color looks a little brighter, a little different from what they've had in the past. And they actually have three different colors. You can see there's the light, and then there's like a clementine orange type color here. So it's coming back in at least three different colors. Then this one just speaks to me. I'm going to show it to you. And it is giving me all of the Bath and Body Works mid-late 90s name vibes. I like the style of the bag. Too small for me. But I'm not really sure how I feel about... I'm not sure how I feel yet about the actual design. Do you see that? Uh-oh, let me go back. So, you see that? Isn't that like giving you 90s Bath and Body Works spray, lotion, body wash, trio vibes? Oh my goodness. So it has kind of this woven basket weave in the background, which Dooney has done before. I have some Dooney woven pieces that I really like. They do that very well. I have Tessuta, which is literally woven. And then I have some other bags from other collections where the leather is stamped to give that woven feel, that woven look. And then I have the raffia, right, where they're a Camila, where you actually have texture. It's not woven, but it's not woven in this traditional sense, but it's woven in that it is the material. The raffia is actually, y'all, the fibers are interwoven. So they have that one, and then they have it, of course, in a different colorway, different bag silhouette, different background, same collection, just a couple different colors, some bag options. I'm not sure how I feel about it, but bring on the accessories, because I could very well go for a couple of accessories, especially this one with the green background. I know that the sorority sisters of AKA with this pink and green are probably going to end up, maybe having a little bit stronger liking for this one than maybe some of the others. The blue and white for, Zeta Phi Beta. Anyway, moving on. But those are a few of them. So, because I did not snag the screenshot as I could have, should have, wished that I had, we'll have to wait until the promo and the inventory is actually posted. But I did see it with my own eyes, and I am super excited about it. I cannot wait to see it and get my hands on it. So that is it. Again, I don't know how many parts this series will have, but it is the bags that pulled me into the Dooney Vortex. These are just a few that have become Dooney Addict favorites in my collection, and none of the bags that I will feature in this series are standalones in my collection, meaning I will have multiple colors or sizes or variations of these bags, because when they pulled me in and I fell in love with them, I fell hard. And I know that I've seen in the chat that you all have similar bags that you have fallen for, that have pulled you into the vortex as well. So we're going to take this journey together. I do appreciate you sticking with me tonight. Please be sure again to hit the thumbs up before you head out. Share this video with another bag enthusiast. After the live stream uploads, I'll get some affiliate links based on bags that were shared tonight that are still available on either Dooney or I Love Dooney. And until next time, I do hope you have an amazing week and that you find something that feeds your addiction. Take care, everyone.